All right, change of plans for the electric car charger for my new RAV4 PHEV plug-in hybrid vehicle. I showed you the unboxing of this Grizzl-E, and I was all convinced I should put in a NEMA 1450 plug and plug this in, and then it'd be portable. I could take it with me, blah blah blah. But I found out about more is that the problem is our house only has a 100 amp uh, electrical service, and this could draw up to 40 amps. So you can't just hook that in there with all your other things. Like we have AC, we have a central gas furnace, we have an electric dryer, we have a refrigerator, we have an electric stove, and oven. So you have to have some kind of current limiting capacity so that you don't overtax your electrical service. And one of the contractors I talked to said it would cost $25,000 plus to upgrade our service to 200 amps. So now to counteract that, these companies that are making these chargers have figured that out, and there are some that you can put in time limits. You know, don't go over this during the day. Only allow high amperage at night. But the best solution seemed to be to let's get rid of this. Fortunately it was within the return period, so I returned it to Amazon. So that's a nice feature buying it from Amazon. And one of the contractors I talked to was a certified Tesla installer, and we do have a roof that was installed by Solar City. And then a couple of years ago, we had the inverter replaced by Tesla because Tesla bought Solar City. So we've had this Tesla inverter. It's been really good, solid, nice design. So he convinced me that this was the best charger that we could get. It's hardwired, which I'll talk more about that in a second. And it supports both NCAS and J1772, J1772, which is what I have uh, on my new RAV4 has this kind of connector. This is the Tesla connector, but this one does both. So it has this little adapter in here. So this is the Tesla connection, and then when you put the adapter on, it has my kind of connection. So that's going to be great. And then still though, this one can actually draw 48 amps because it's hardwired, right? Which means you can charge faster. But again, that's even more load on the system. So the solution to that is Tesla makes a remote meter that uh, can actually detect here. It has these uh, clips that go over. Stay over there. Has these clips that go over the main feed lines into your house that can measure the remotely and passively measure the current the rest of your house is pulling, and then it can automatically adjust. It'll send a signal to the Tesla charger saying, "Hey, you just turned the oven on or whatever." It doesn't know what you turned on, but the amperage load of the house just gone up, so back off on the current going to the charger. So that's going to solve that problem completely, and they can install this at the same time they install this wall connector. So and the other benefit of a hardwired system is, our electric company is PG&E in California, Pacific Gas and Electric, and they have a rebate system going on now where if you install a hardwired car charger, it has to be hardwired, you get 50% off the cost of the charger. Hopefully, I can also get 50% off this thing too. We'll find out. And but at least I get half the cost of this. Uh, so at half the cost, it's actually a little cheaper than the Grizzl-E charger, which I think was $299. So we're actually saving some money, and we're getting a better system. It's a cleaner system. It's the cord hangs over the thing itself. Hopefully they show that here. Yeah, see the cord just wraps around this. It does have an app, which originally I thought, who needs an app? It just makes things more complicated. But it would be nice to calculate to get exactly how much power the electric car is taking. So my original plan was to have a dumb charger. I think I mentioned that. Dumb charger that I would control the charging from the car, which I didn't understand the limitations of having a 100 amp service on your house and all these kind of things. So now I understand that a lot better. We have a much better solution. So this is the benefit of talking to multiple contractors when you do these kind of projects, because you always learn something that you didn't know before, unless it's something you've done 100 times, which of course it's the first electric car charger I've installed, so I didn't really know much. I knew only what I could find out on the internet, which is not always everything. So in any case, this is going to be a much better setup, and don't have to upgrade our service in our house and save $25,000. So should be great. Of course, my plug-in hybrids only has a 22.5 kilowatt hour battery, so it's a much smaller battery than a full electric vehicle. So it should only take me a couple hours to charge at the most. And the XSE version I'm getting can handle, I think, 11 kilowatts. Yeah, so that would be 2 hours. Yeah, it has 11 kilowatt charger. So at full amperage, it should be able to charge in a couple hours, which will be great. So that's the solution on this. And we have a couple different contractors. I actually have 3 contractors lined up to bid on this. That's always a good idea too. So we'll see what they come up with. The guy that suggested this is probably number 1 right now, but I have another electrician that I use for another job that I'm from that's here locally that I like. So we'll see what he comes up with. He's probably installed these too. So the one contractor that suggested this though is actually a Tesla certified installer. So whatever, that's probably worth a little bit anyway. We'll see how the prices and schedule come out. And haven't got my car yet, but it should be coming the next couple of weeks. And it'll be exciting when I can actually plug it in. Now, of course, I can plug it in the 120 volt circuit if this work isn't done yet, but it'd be fun to actually plug it into a 220 regular car charger and charge it up and start driving.
All right, as I just said, we dumped the dumb Grizzl-E charger. Grizzl-E charger would have worked, but because of the problems with the total power we have coming into the house, we had to put on an expensive limiting circuit that one of the contractors said would cost $1,200. So we're going with this Tesla universal wall connector. So the RAV4 has the J-type connection, this charger supports both that and the Tesla charger, which is NCA-SS or something like that. So we picked this up at Best Buy. That's interesting. You can now buy a EV charger at Best Buy. That's an interesting development. We open it up, and it looks very sleek. And up on the top here it says, "Thank you for accelerating the world's transition to sustainable energy," in a bunch of different languages. So let's lift this out. So the cord is wrapped around this cardboard, so you have to get the cardboard out. And got some protective foam here. Now this is a QR code that's specific to and a serial number and other network information that's unique to my connector, so I'm not going to show you that. But yeah, so it supports both the J1772 connector, which is what I'm going to have on the RAV4, and also the NACS Tesla connector. So, and it can work for both of those, so that's great. And then here's some other QR code, which I'm not going to look at that just yet. And it talks about installing it. It's like it could go outside, but we're going to be putting it inside the garage. So now it's got a diagram here that shows that I guess the cable can go from the top or the bottom. That's what it looks like to me. That's interesting. We'll be coming out of the bottom because it's going to be looping around the top, I think. So now let me get this cable out. We'll take a look at the plug and some other things. Inside this brochure that had my unique stuff on it, there's stuff about wiring it. And it's got the electrical connections here. And this we're getting an electrician to do this, so I don't really have to know much about this. But again, it looks like you can put the cable in through the top if you want. Or maybe that's where the wires go in. That's right, I guess the wiring go in from the top or the bottom. Okay. All right. I thought this came with a the wiring, but I guess you put a conduit into right into the top of it. Let's look at that other picture. Can't really tell from this picture. Let's see. There's another wire here somewhere. I don't see anything else. We should have everything we need. All right. Well, let's take this protective cover off and take a look at the plug. All right. So I'm using my safety scissors so I don't cut any wires. All right. So this has got the Tesla plug, and then inside the unit itself, it's got the other plug. So I'm gonna go in. I bought this, so I can take this off. I don't think the electrician will mind if I take this off. So then we can pull out this plug. Maybe we have to plug it in there to get it to come out. Get this to come out. Now let me work on this and I'll see if I can figure out how to get it out of there. Alright, so I was not successful in getting this out, but hopefully the electrician knows how to do that. Or else I'll have to find a video on how to do it. In any case, I figured out what this diagram means here. So this is the 4 different ways you can mount it and where the wires can come in. So the top 2 are if you have conduit going into either the top or the bottom of the charger. So the back comes off, and that must have something to do with this tape here. I'm gonna leave that alone. Let the electrician do that. And then if you have the conduit coming in from the top, it loops around, and you put a tie wrap on it, and you put it into the lugs here. So there's a ground, an L1 and L2, so it's a 240. And then if you have the wires coming out of the wall, then you have to drill out this. Have to drill out the back of this mounting plate to allow for the wires to come in. So since this is going to be surface mounted in the garage, I'm sure we're going to be doing conduit from the bottom, most likely. That makes the most sense to me, but we'll see what the electrician says. So, all right, that's my alarm. Okay, so the other thing is it's got these screws here. Maybe the screws are inside. Maybe they're inside because they have some screws here that lock the mounting plate into the case, but there's no screws here, and I can't find any other little bags or anything in this box here. So hopefully the electrician knows. I mean, we're hiring electricians that have installed these before, so they should know what they're doing. Should be straightforward for them, and that's good. That's why we're hiring them. Okay, so here's some stuff that you need that I think doesn't appear to be included. I'll look around some more. I don't see where else it could be unless it's inside. It could be inside here, these other screws. There's also some lag screws for attaching it to the wall. We're going to need that. If you look at this diagram, it shows it up against a stud. See, so we're going to have that. So there's the stud. We have a stud over there next to our sub panel, and then it'll be mounted on that using these lag screws, and then I'll run a conduit to the bottom and then wire it up, and then hopefully everything will work. And if these screws aren't provided, I can find some M4 hex screws, obviously. So we'll just see what they have and see what they do. All right, I looked at some videos online. This should just pull out, and this should just come out. It's not working. There it goes. Okay. I guess that paper's not supposed to rip when you pull on it, but mine did. Okay, so there's that. And inside is lag screws and the M4 screws that we were looking for. That screw into the top here to secure the charger itself to this thing that mounts on the wall. And then the mounting is you actually drill holes in the case here, depending on what you need. Like if you're drilling like we showed, if you're attaching a conduit from the back, you're going to drill a big hole with a hole drill. And if you're just attaching these lag screws, you're just going to screw in these two and screw it in. So that's that. Now this thing, so that solves that mystery. The screws are inside. That's a good place if you can't lose them. So we're going to put them back in there. Now we're going to figure out how to get this adapter out. Now, according to the video I watched, you can't pull it out this way because otherwise someone would steal it. So you're supposed to be able to put this in all the way and then push it down, and then it's supposed to come out with the charger, but it's not doing it. Maybe it only works when the power's on. That's a possibility, but I don't see how. I guess there has to be power between these two, so maybe only when it's plugged in does this work. So right now it won't come out, but hopefully once it's plugged in, push on this, it'll come out. It won't work now without the power. That's my only guess. So. All right, so that's it for this. For now, electrician did come by, and hopefully we get our third bid soon, and we'll compare the bids and see which one comes out the best.
If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Post a comment if you have any questions or ideas, and I'll try to respond. That's all for now, but more videos are coming, and if you want to see them, please subscribe to my channel and turn on the notification icon if you don't want to miss one. This is Beta Cygni signing out, and keep looking up.